million years ago. This team reminds us of the good old days of 2019. The Ravens. Are the Ravens back? Are the Ravens good?
I went missing in September, then running in November. Now I'm training in December. The Minnesota Vikings. Oh, thanks, Santa.
Look at this. And there's a riddle. It says I just got my first in week 15, but it might have cost me my first in 2021. I know what it is. The Jets! I'm a winner! Merry Christmas, Jets. Let's start the show. Hit it!
Good morning, football, the Christmas edition right here, right now. We are live. We are with you as you open your presents, as you wake up, and hopefully there's smiles across the country this morning. My name's Kay Adams with these three guys who must have been really good all year long to get such great presents from NFL Shop. Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt. Guys, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
To you. Merry Christmas. Everybody looks great. This is a special morning. And Peter, I didn't know Where's Waldo was a Ravens fan. You look great.
Where's Waldo with the Ravens robe? Thank you, NFL Shop. Hannah Anderson, what's up? Let's get into it.
Hey.
A lot to get into. We've got a game today on Christmas, a big one in the NFC. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block.
Lead block.
We bring in Jane Slater. Merry Christmas to you, Jane. You're there in New Orleans. A slow start for Drew Brees in his first game back from injury. He got rolling, though, in the second half. I'd like to see more of that today against the Vikings. How's Drew feeling ahead of this one?
Good morning and Merry Christmas to you guys. Well, Drew Brees would like to see more of that, too. As you said, he was off to a rocky start in his first game back following the rib and lung injury. 0 for 6 in his first passing attempts. We didn't see him score until the second quarter. Now, when we talked to him on Monday, he said he felt fine and admitted he was just getting back into a rhythm. But he said the biggest challenge this week, other than trying to figure out why they were 1 for 11 on third down conversions and why that time of possession, 18 minutes and 46 seconds, was so lopsided, by the way, the worst TOP in the Brees Payton era. He said the big thing this week was recovery. It helps that this isn't a Thursday game, instead it's a Friday, but you're still condensing 7 days of preparation into... So getting back this week is Jameis Winston back at number 2 after he surprisingly ended up on that COVID IR list. What that means is you get a bigger menu for Taysom Hill. The Mormon Missile was limited last week because they wanted to make sure that they kept that snap count down in case they needed him as the backup quarterback. Now, look, I talked to running back Alvin Kamara and I said, what are some of the nuances of this offense when you get Brees back? He said the vibe is just different, and it's different because he's been in the league 20 years. The General is his nickname around here because he has such a control of this offense. Now, when you look at Alvin Kamara, the key this week would be to get him going. What was interesting, guys, this is a fun fact that you guys can talk about over the Christmas table with your family and friends. I find it hard to believe that he has yet to have a 1,000-yard season. Now, he is the only NFL player ever to have 500 yards rushing and over 500 yards receiving in each of his 4 seasons in the league. But I said, look, you've got 777 rushing yards. Are you eyeing that 1,000-yard goal? And he said, no, as long as we're winning, matters to me. And as I said, this Vikings defense is here. They were 5th ranked last year. That linebackers unit has been decimated. Doesn't help that they're not going to have Eric Kendricks back for his 4th straight game. He's still dealing with that calf injury, guys.
Appreciate you breaking down the offense. That's where all the eyes will be. The defense playing absolutely lights out despite letting the Chiefs put up 32 points. Now they've got a tough task. It's no picnic trying to stop Thielen and company, especially Dalvin Cook running there. Jane, thank you. We'll talk to you there from the Superdome in New Orleans all Christmas morning long. Looking at the clinching scenarios here, yes, they clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Vikings or a Buccaneers loss there in the NFC South. That game, part of our double header here on NFL Network exclusively. So I'm going to ask you, and I'll start with you, Nate. What do you need to see from the Saints to convince you that they're back and they're ready to go deep into the playoffs?
First, I want to see a win. They got to get the dub. I mean, when you win, it cures everything. It might not cure his ailing rib cage. It's still going to heal up throughout the rest of the regular season, but it definitely helps. And secondly, they're going to have to get this offense going. I was talking to my daughter, Mia Pearl. She's 10 years old. I said, when do you want to open the gifts? She said, ASAP. I said, well, Daddy has to work. You don't want to wait? She's like, no, I don't want to wait. I want to open them up as soon as I wake up. I want to open them up now. And that's the same thing that the Saints have to do with offense. They got to open it up now. They can't wait till the second half. This past game, it seems like Drew Brees was trying to find his rhythm, and we all knew that was going to be the case. It seems like he was trying to nickel and dime, maybe even a little bit sore. But then in that second half, they really got cooking. First half, 0 TDs, 1 interception. In that second half, $153 TDs. And they started to throw the ball downfield. So just like kids waking up today, they're going to have to open up this offense sooner than later.
I was Christmas Eve. I was getting in the mood, and NFL Network was on the background, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch a little NFL Network. And they played last year's playoff game. And I know that a lot of things had happened since the wild card round. It was a crazy game. And the Vikings, with Kirk Cousins, who had never won a big game in his entire life, went into New Orleans and just sliced and diced up this defense in overtime. Hit Diggs. Then it was this one. Maybe the pass of Cousins' career. Hits Thielen, and Thielen's diving. Then they get him to go to third down, and then it's this, which might have been an offensive pass interference. Chris Myers in the corner. Is it in? Is it in? Is it in? It's in. It's touchdown. Kyle, you gotta be interviewed by me now. This was crazy, and yet all the Saints guys come back. All the Saints guys remember that. All the Saints guys have that taste in their mouth. Now, look, we can go through Nicole Roby-Coleman. We can go through the Stephon Diggs from 3 years ago. I'm talking specifically about a game that happened less than 12 months ago on their home field, and now they have a chance on a Friday afternoon that is Christmas Day in front of the entire country to make a statement. The Vikings are going nowhere this season. The Saints, if they have aspirations to go anywhere, go and hammer the Vikings. Do not let them hang around until the fourth quarter. Don't let them win in overtime. Go and hammer this Vikings team and make a statement and show us that, yeah, maybe you are the team in the NFC that we thought you were about a month ago.
Peter shot out of a cannon. My statement is, Nate, my game ball goes to the Santa Claus you have in your house. I love that guy. I want to have a drink with that guy. I love the dude. I'm glad he could be part of the show. And I'm just glad we could do this on Christmas. There's so many families watching right now, so many children. Honestly, right now I'm in my basement. My children are 2 floors up, sitting at the top of the stairs, waiting patiently to come down. The second this segment is over, I'm going to run upstairs during commercial break, have them come down, presents, cavalcade. It's really special. It's really cool, and we're going to have a fun show all morning. Meantime, about the Saints, I'm on the same thing. I want to see Drew Brees and the Drew Brees that I know. I think there's going to be a lot of people watching the Saints team today on Christmas Day that maybe don't watch a lot of football. I would love them to pass the Aunt Patty test. Aunt Patty doesn't know football, doesn't watch football. I'm speaking about my own Aunt Patty. If she sat down today and watched the Saints and Drew Brees, would she think, wow, that team's really incredible. That team's really impressive. I'd like to see that. And Drew's got this thing set up perfectly. He's at home. You get Christmas morning. He's got his beautiful children, Balin, Braylon, Galen, Halen, Palin, all of them. You get to have Christmas morning with him, which is wonderful. But I have to tell you guys, Christmas afternoon, not that great. It's 1 o'clock p.m. and your kid is asking, can you put together this 27,000-piece Lego Star Destroyer? It's terrible. It's a lot of batteries. It's a lot of assembling. And it's the most high-wire act that a father can ever do It is the applying of decals on new toys. It feels like open heart surgery, very stressful. Brees is going to be at the Superdome. He'd rather be at the Superdome than applying decals and putting together Star Destroyers. I think we see a loose Drew Brees here, and I hope we see a happy one. Merry Christmas, Drew, and I'll put on a show and avenge that playoff loss.
Kyle, those are my favorite gifts to give. I don't have kids. I have nephews, 2 of them, and a niece. And I'm like, what's the hardest thing to make my brother-in-law have to put? Oh, this thing, this 900-piece thing, this drum set. Here you go, kids. It's really quite fun here on the holiday. Appreciate that perspective. And I appreciate you guys talking about the offense. My expectations for the offense are big in the playoffs. I think they're still not 100% today, even though they have a nice matchup up against a Vikings defense that's been pretty generous, but and not very stingy at all. But I'm looking at Brees. He's not going to have Michael Thomas on there. To expect them to fire on all cylinders here in week 16, I think it's a little bit overblown. I'm looking at the defense. This defense did not allow a 100-yard rusher in 3 years. And then against the Eagles, they allowed 2 in Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. This defense today has to be spectacular. A Super Bowl defense, like what they looked like against the Chiefs, especially with Dalvin Cook on the other side. Dalvin Cook needs to get bottled up. Jefferson and Thielen, I said it to Jane Slater, no picnic either. Okay, Peter. Kyle's out of here to open some presents. What do you got next?
What do we got next? Nate and I are going to stick around right now. We're going to maybe break it out. Juju Smith-Schuster does some TikTok. He does some dancing. And Tua is going to be doing some playing. We're going to talk about all of this.